I chose AIC because it was convenient. It was what I needed at the moment. I needed to be able to work full-time and come to school and get the degree that I needed, and it really served its purpose in that sense. And the fact that it was accessible, it was close by in terms of my commute for both work and home, and it was an environment where I was able to do a graduate degree with other professionals that were already working in the field that I was looking for. So I think that the accessibility and the flexibility were key for me. I decided to run for office because, as my boss says, if you're not at the table, you may be on the menu. And I felt that there was a real lack of representation in Holyoke politics. As a Puerto Rican lesbian woman, there's not really a lot of me out there. And I wanted to make sure that I was in a position where I could be a voice for folks that many times are left out of conversations, and to work on ways to improve quality of life for all Holyokers. So as a Holyoke City Councilor, I'm in my third term. My term will end this December 31st, and I'm not running for re-election. My replacement actually was elected just recently, and it was the person I endorsed, so that was a super bonus. And so my role, I think, is kind of twofold. One is being a voice and being a liaison between constituents and City Hall and the bureaucracy that that represents, unfortunately. But also, it gives me an opportunity to work on legislation that I feel can improve things in Holyoke on all different levels, and to be really a partner with the City of Holyoke and the administration to improve the quality of life for Holyokers. I think Holyoke is pretty unique in the sense that there's 40,000 residents, and about 50% of those folks are Puerto Rican. When you look at the people who are representing the city in terms of politics, of the 13 city councilors, only 3 that are Puerto Rican. And I think that we have a pretty great responsibility to make sure that we are thinking about constituents overall, but also making sure that we don't leave behind that 50% of Puerto Ricans that for many years have actually been left behind. So I didn't run for re-election because Elizabeth Warren owns all my time at this point. As her Massachusetts State Director, I felt that it was not going to be fair either to my constituents or to the campaign to continue to have to split my time. And even though the council in Holyoke is part-time, the reality is it's not. And so I just felt it was best if I could just, exit and allow somebody to be able to be completely dedicated to the role. So I first met Senator Warren in 2013 when I was running for the first time, and she was actually in Holyoke kicking off a canvass for Ed Markey, and immediately connected with her throughout the years. Have been very honored and privileged to work with her staff and with her on initiatives regarding Puerto Rico, regarding the LGBT community, regarding Holyoke. And so when it came time to make this decision, it was very easy for me. I actually got the call the day after Christmas, where I was told 2 things. Number 1, that she was running for president, and number 2, that I was being asked if I would be willing to be her state director in Massachusetts. So I said yes, of course. And I left a job of 13 years to join this campaign, and that's just how much I believe in her and how she's been an amazing role model for me. So as state director for Massachusetts for Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign, I'm in charge of all the logistics regarding the coverage here in the state, so political, organizing. I do have a full-time organizing director, thankfully, and we also have some regional organizers that are helping us, but basically being the face of the campaign here in her home state and making sure that we secure a victory here as well. I think representation is crucial when it comes to elected office for a couple of reasons. When we look at 2018, we look at the number of women that got elected into office, people that woke up and said, I want to be a part of this in a way that's significant, in a way that makes sense to me. I think it's really important because it's about what are the decisions that are being made at these tables of power and who really is at those tables. And I think that when we're having conversations about childcare and healthcare and education, we need to know that there is definitely representation and diversity at those tables because it's what our communities look like. And so I think the dynamic between power, diversity, and representation is one that we will continue to see. And the 2020, presidential field is just an example of that. But it's not just about presidential election, it's about municipal elections, it's about school committees and city councils and folks that are running for mayor and folks that are just really saying, I'm here and I'm here to show that I can do this job and this is why. And I applaud. I applaud the folks that are part of communities of color, that are women, that are LGBTQ, from marginalized groups that are stepping up and saying, I'm part of this conversation and I'm not going away.